1 minute.
The following program is an exclusive Disruption Networks production.
Help the D make strides against breast cancer by donating to our Real Men Wear Pink page, maine.acsevents.org/Utica. It's important for us as a whole to help raise awareness, education, and do our part to help fight this horrible disease. The Disruption team will be raising funds at upcoming events and all our daily programming. Please support our cause by donating a few dollars to our Real Men Wear Pink page. To learn more, visit maine.acsevents.org/Utica or follow the donation link on our Facebook page. Help the D, save the bees, and put an end to breast cancer.
Thank you for your service, you're welcome. A comedy benefit show for our veterans. In support of the Central New York Veterans Outreach Center. On November 10th at Wakely's, 700 Varick Street, Utica, join Disruption Network as they team up with 92.7 FM The Drive for this night of laughter. The evening will be hosted by Genesee Joe from The Drive. Performances by Mike Ciccone, Paul Kozlowski, Cortland Kluse, Mike Pileggi, and DJ Ease One. Admission is by donation only. Please bring clothes, socks, gloves, non-perishable food items, or a small monetary donation. All donations will go to the Central New York Veterans Outreach Center. Saturday, November 10th at Wakely's on Varick Street. Doors open at 7 p.m. Show starts at 8 p.m. Thank you for your service is sponsored by The D, 92.7 FM The Drive, Paulie's Barbershop, NYE Volkswagen of Rome, Frank's Guns, and Central New York Seal Coating and Concrete.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Hey, Disruption Network. This is Mike Sacco, the general manager at NYE Volkswagen of Rome. If you don't know me by name, it's only because you have not received the best deal. There's only one reason to leave Utica, and that's to come see me in Rome and get the best deal on your next new, pre-owned, or certified VW. Mention that you heard this ad from Disruption Network and receive $250 off your next vehicle purchase. You'll know why our customers say, I love my NYE VW. Come see us at 5865 Rome Taberg Road in Rome or visit us online at nyevwofrome.com.
The Property Sisters of the Mohawk Valley was born when three top producing agents with over 25 years of combined experience selling real estate joined forces to take real estate to the next level. We practice with honesty, integrity, and the knowledge to help make the buying and selling process easy and stress-free for all of our clients. We pledge to always make our clients our top priority from start to finish and even after the house is closed. We will always be a valued resource for information and assistance for our buyers and sellers. Our customers over the years have become not only past clients, but great friends. As we join hands together as the Property Sisters of the Mohawk Valley, we look forward to serving our clients and our community and making a positive difference. You can reach us at 315-601-9630 for all of your real estate needs.
The Disruption Network is making moves. For upcoming events, news, interviews, and new daily programming, keep in the loop with us at DisruptionNetwork.net. Like, follow, and subscribe to all our social media. And check out all our podcasts on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Get up on the D, DisruptionNetwork.net.
Welcome to EC Radio Podcast. We would like to thank all of our sponsors for joining the Disruption team, and we hope that you will support all of our sponsors. And of course, we appreciate you listening to this program.
Disruption Networks.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are ya? It's a twisty Tuesday here on EC Radio. I'm twisted up on yerba mate and CBD today. Ha! That's what's going down in my world. How are you today? Of course, you can follow along on all our social media, and of course at home base, DisruptionNetwork.net. Yeah, baby. I'm excited for today's guest. My guest today is a behind-the-scenes type of guy. You can see him behind the scenes. Well, you won't really see him behind the scenes, but he's behind the scenes at such festivals as Lock-In, Governor's Ball, and where I had the pleasure of meeting and working with him at Borderland Festival. You can find him online at gofordindasmanagement.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you... I had to mess with you a little bit. Jon Dindas, everybody. How you doing, buddy? Wait, it would help if I unmuted you, huh? There you go.
Am I muted?
Yeah, not anymore. Technical difficulties that always happen on the show, Dindas. So, welcome to my world. How you doing, buddy?
And we did that high-tech line check beforehand.
Super high-tech, for sure, man. It's good to see you, man. You got to be an excited Boston Red Sox fan right now.
Yeah, let's start there. Let's go Sox.
Yeah.
I know. Hey, look, you met me in a position where I was a very unpopular sports fan as a Jets fan in the middle of Buffalo, early season football. I've made a career of being an unpopular sports fan, being a New Yorker who likes the Sox, but these are the days that make it all worthwhile.
How does that happen? You grew up in New York, correct?
Born and raised.
Born and raised in New York. How do you become a Red Sox fan, born and raised in New York?
I'll give you there's a story. I'll give you the really quick story because it's not that interesting, but there is a story. My dad was a Brooklyn Dodger fan. When you were a Brooklyn Dodger fan back in the 50s, you were taught to hate the Yankees.
Uh-huh.
I was born in the 70s. I was instructed by my father to hate the Yankees. So in the 70s, if you hate the Yankees, you're a Red Sox fan and you're a Met fan. The Mets weren't very good. The Red Sox were also not very good, but at least had hope. So, I saw Carlton Fisk hit a home run. That made me a Red Sox fan. Bucky Dent then hit a home run, and I got my ass kicked by my friend Brad's older brother, Mitch, for being a Red Sox fan. That was 1978, and here we are all these years later. And, we've won, 3 World Series in the last 12 years, 15 years. And I'm looking for a 4th starting tonight.
For me, this World Series is like deciding if I want chlamydia or syphilis.
Okay, that's fair, but I want to know which the Sox are.
Actually, to be honest with you, I'm going to watch the game, and I'm a baseball purist. I love the game of baseball. I grew up. I had cousins that played in Major League Baseball, and I grew up loving baseball. So I am a baseball fan, and there is you can't deny the fact that the Boston Red Sox were the best team all year. You can't, and I really don't see the Dodgers beating them.
Yeah, that's where, as a Red Sox fan, I can get into a lot of trouble really quickly by making statements like that. The Red Sox were the best team this year. I thought the Astros were the one team that could beat them. But, you're in a 7-game series. You got Clayton Kershaw. I'm not going to jump ahead of anything. I like my chances. Let's go back a second, though. Who are your cousins who played Major League Baseball?
Archie Sanfrocco, he's a local guy. He played for the San Diego Padres. In fact, he was on the 98 Padres team when they played the Yankees in the World Series. He got one at bat in the World Series.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
See, that's things I didn't know about you. That's impressive. I mean, look, man, if our lineup can produce 1 through 9, I mean, when your AL Championship Series MVP is your number 9 hitter, and your top 3 hitters are the top 2 hitters in baseball, I like my lineup. You know, if Chris Sale can stay healthy and if David Price can pitch like he did last game, you know, we'll be having some fun in about 6 days.
The one thing I can say about the Red Sox, and growing up not liking the Red Sox, I'm not going to use the word hate. I don't like when they use the word hate. I hate that player or whatever. But I used to dislike like Manny Ramirez and dislike Pedro Martinez. I disliked Veritek. But I could say on this team, there's really not too many guys I dislike. Mookie Betts is a stud. The kid is amazing. I like Bogarts and Ben Deteni. He's a hard-nosed player, and he digs to the ground. I mean, there's some really good players. The only player I really do dislike is Steven Pierce, but he's not really a typical Red Sox. To me, he still plays for the Devil Rays or Tampa Bay.
I mean, that was the thing for me growing up watching those teams like, you know, the Dewey Evans, Jim Rice, Butch Hobson, Jerry Remy teams. Those were great teams that you wanted to root for. Those were Boston Red Sox teams. And then, like, you know, the teams that won, I mean, I love Pedro and I love Poppy and I like Tech, but like, you know, Manny's the kind of guy that you're happy when he's on your team and you can do without him. But this, yeah, you're right. This is a team to get behind, and it was a really good, fun regular season watching them do what they did. And I mean, look, 7 games, anything can happen, but you know, let's get at it.
Yeah, I'm just hoping to see some good baseball, and I'm definitely going to pay attention. The Dodgers, I can't really. Which is your dad still a Dodger fan? No. When they moved, he said Walter O'Malley. Great line from my dad. He said the 3 worst people in the history of the world were Hitler, Mussolini, and Walter O'Malley for moving the Dodgers. But no, he's a Met fan now, and he roots for the Red Sox because he likes to see his kid happy. But I mean, the LA Dodgers and the Brooklyn Dodgers are 2 totally different animals. Indeed. The thing that surprises me, too, is the Red Sox and the Dodgers are meeting for the first time in the World Series. You would have thought this happened years and years ago, but I think 1915 was the last time they played for a championship, and the Dodgers weren't the Dodgers yet. They were something else. But 100 years. Look at you pulling out the years. I love it. You got the number. Pay attention. You got the number 31 hanging out over the top of your head. What's happening with that? Well, if you're dyslexic, it's 13, and it would celebrate the most recent birthday of my now teenage daughter. But 31, you know, if I were a little bit quicker, I'd come up with some great Red Sox 31. But I can't think of one off the top of my head. But it's a cool visual just for the back of the thing here, right? Yeah, you know, absolutely. The silver balloons, I dig it. It's almost like you got a halo over your head. I always have a halo over my head. You know that. So, Dindas, I want to switch it up a little bit, man. I want to talk a little bit about your background and like what you do and everything that you're doing out there in the music industry. So let's start, like, growing up. You don't grow up thinking, yeah, I want to be a production manager. What did you want to be when you were growing up? A fireman. A fireman? I mean, doesn't everybody? You know, I had a fire in Queens. I had a firehouse down the block from me. I'd go down, I'd sit on the thing, I'd go down the pole. That was as good as life got, right? I mean, I'll tell you, I wanted to be a lot of things. I went to school, you know, and studied political science. I worked in government for a while, but like, I grew up going to concerts, and I will give my parents 100% of the credit for this. You know, some of my earliest memories are seeing Pete Seeger at Carnegie Hall or seeing David Bromberg at the Philadelphia Folk Festival. So I really did grow up going to concerts and grew up with my dad's record collection. And, you know, you go to concerts, you hear music, you don't really know what goes into it. You know, you see a concert, everybody shows up and there's a concert. You don't really see the other side or figure it out. I was also lucky in the mid 80s, my uncle owned a limousine company, and one of his clients was Eric Clapton. Oh, wow. So anytime Clapton came to New York, he would drive Eric. And, you know, being at that point, 14, 15, 16-year-old, you know, Uncle Mike, hey, you know, you need somebody to help you out. So I would go and I would, you know, I got to meet Phil Collins and I got to meet Keith Richards and I got to see a little bit of, you know, what that world was backstage. But again, you know,
didn't really know that that's what I wanted to do. And then I became a deadhead and spent way too much time and money and brain cells, in the not now where it's, you go on fish tour and it's like, the world is your oyster. Like, this was like the late 80s. This was the Reagan era USA, and we're walking around with no shoes in like Chicago with tie-dyes on. This was like hardcore. And I saw that, and again, the lifestyle, the nomadic thing was great, and I really I was always drawn to it. The community, especially the Deadheads, because we were this like little group of people of liberal hippie people in this cold, hard country we're living in. That was something that really also attracted me, besides the music, but the sense of community. And that's kind of what I do now. At some point I duck behind the curtain, and I mentioned political science. I used to get involved in campaigns from when I was in high school through college, after college. And I realized that, running campaigns and running artists' careers, doing artist management, is a very similar thing. In terms of getting people out on the road and disseminating information and grassroots, communication, all of that. So I went from politics to artists at the beginning of my career. And at some point, I was around enough shows that I realized that was it. For me, it was always that moment, you go to a concert and, you stand around with your friends for 45 minutes, you're waiting for the show to start, and then the lights go down and the crowd gets a little bit crazy and all that. That moment of like anticipation on the crowd's end and anticipation with the band, to me, that's it. That's still it. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a part of that moment. My guitar playing was never going to get me on the stage at the Garden, but my skills at putting together events and doing what I do has. And, when you're on the stage at the Garden and the lights go down and 18,000 people start to scream and you turn around and you see the band getting pumped and walking on, man, the best thing about music is that it is limitless. There's no language other than it's the musical language itself that has barriers. And, you go to one of the festivals that we work on and you'll meet people from all over the world who speak all kinds of languages, and they're there for this common cause, this common calling of the music. And to be able to make a living doing that and sharing that is really special. And it's something that I've been lucky enough to be able to kind of set myself up to do. And I'm very grateful for it.
It's the one thing I love about the jam scene. It's so communal, and it's just like it brings together so many great, awesome people. I've met so many great friends through the music industry, and I got to give a lot of love to the whole Grateful Dead community, the Fish community. I've met some great people through it. I was getting a little bit of feedback there, but anyways, take me through your first show. What was the first show you ever put on or you ever worked?
I don't know if I remember the first show. I mean, the first thing that I was really involved in that really, kind of felt like my own were the Jammy Awards.
Okay.
Pete Shapiro's Jammies. It started its first year at Irving Plaza, and then went to Roseland, and then went to the theater at MSG. And, basically part of Pete's brilliance, and this was like the precursor to Lock-In, was putting together random pairings of artists. Who else thinks, hey, there are the Disco Biscuits, there's Travis Tritt, I'm going to put the two of them together and it's going to be awesome. That's only Shapiro can do that. And whether it was Ryan Adams playing with Phil Lesh and kind of at the beginning of the Phil and Friends thing, or John Mayer and Buddy Guy, that was something that, was ours because it came from the Wetlands. And, the Wetlands was a formative time for me. It's where I met Pete. It's where I started going at the end of high school, at the beginning of college. It had just opened. I know I'm dating myself a little bit, but the Wetlands was, talk about community. There was nothing better than the community at the Wetlands. Again, this was the Giuliani era, New York City. And to have a place where you could go downstairs and stay till 4 a.m. listening to, Conehead Buddha or Jiggle the Handle,
wow.
And smoking weed and, just, telling your parents, hey, I'm going to someplace in the city, and like walking in and seeing the VW bus. And, I was from Westchester, and there were kids from the city and there were kids from the island. And we were all like, oh, wait, there are people like us all over the place. So the Wetlands kind of begot we got the jammies, and the jammies, then kind of morphs into Lock-In. And yeah, it's all about what you just said. It's the people who are that you can connect with, and the things that can be done around music. That you walk into a party and you say, "Hey, you and you go do something over there." People are going to say, "What are you talking about?" But if you walk into a party and there are two guitar players and say, "You and you take your guitars and go over there," people are going to do it. Mm-hmm. And that's the good stuff. I mean, that's, as you just said, how many friends do you have because of the scenes that we've been exposed to? That you just, you can be friends at a sporting event, but then you go home. You go to a Dead show together. In the old days, you get your phone number, which is like the phone on the wall with the dial on it, and then or you get an address and you'd mail your friend a copy of the tape in Chicago. Those are the things that stick, and they're all around music. And I mean, to be honest, they're also in some way around somewhat of a political view of the world. But the real part is music, and it's what goes through.
The scene was so much different back in the 90s. You brought up the 90s and hanging out at the wetlands. It's the pre-internet days, if you will. I feel like it was a tighter community back then. Do you agree?
Yeah, it was a deeper community. Okay. I mean, because as much as, the phone calls or the letters, the genesis of the relationship that you made with people from that scene at that time was spending time with them, right? Sitting next to them at a show, mm-hmm. or meeting them, at set break at section, 212 or whatever it was. There was a physical being, associated with this, that you could then take home and spread, and then, you would look forward to seeing again. Now it's, you're doing couch tour and you're texting somebody who's watching it, but there's no real connection.
Right.
There's, I'm very fond of, in talking to friends and family, there's a digital connection and then there's an actual connection. Actual connection means you have to be in the same place at the same time. And that's what we had then. And that was this thing about, about tour. I would go to a show at the Garden in New York City. And then, 2 months later, I'd get on a train and go to a show at the Henry Kaiser in Oakland. And when you see that guy or that girl that you saw in New York and you didn't talk to in between because you had no way to, that the reuniting there, some of the best moments in the world, and you still see it on Fish Tour a little bit. Yeah. Is when you see two friends who haven't seen each other in 6 months and they haven't talked, and then they're back in their place together. That's the human experience. So yeah, it's much deeper now. We joke about how did we do it back then? How did we all meet up? When we didn't have cell phones or texts to tell us where to meet. But you know what, man? We did it. Mm-hmm. We all seem to show up at, Alpine Valley and see each other somehow.
There was these things called message boards. Remember the message boards?
Of course.
You'd leave a message for your friend and let them know where you're camping at, or where you're staying, or where your car's parked, and you caught up with your people that way. And of course, just by random chance of luck, bumping into them in the parking lot, of course, too.
Yeah, or the great irony of all time was you would meet up with your friends at set break to go to the wharf rat table so that you could meet up and go get high. But that's a whole other different set of irony. But yeah, we made it happen, and. Yeah. The relationships that you have, again, not to date myself, but the people who I saw Dead shows with, I have a different relationship than anybody else. Mm-hmm. Whether it's stronger or deeper or better, I'm not going to say. I'm just going to say it's different.
Yeah, I fully agree on that. Dindas, give me a good pinch me moment. Pinch me, I can't believe my career has taken me to this moment right here. I can't believe I'm doing this right now.
I have so many, man. It's really great. We'll start with the Dead. The fact that I was involved. Again, growing up and seeing the Dead from the regular side. The everyday side, and then being able to be Phil Lesch's promoter rep and for a year and a half and get to know him, or do shows with all the guys, get to know Bobby a little bit. Grateful Dead 50 fared thee well. I don't know if there's a bigger pinch me moment. Pete involved me in that, as he often does. And we were giggling, in Chicago, before the sun went down. It's Soldier Field in Chicago where Jerry had played his last show. And we're, part of the crew that is bringing this to the world. My beyond pinch me moment is I ended up watching the last 3 songs of the last show of the, that iteration of the Grateful Dead at front of house with my all-time idol, Bill Murray. I had met Bill a few times at different shows, and we met up in Chicago, and we were hanging out, and he was with a couple friends, and he said, "Hey man, where should we go watch the end?" And I walked out, and I was standing there, looking at a couple of my friends and a couple of the Dead crew, and looking at Bill Murray, and I was like, "How the hell did I get here?" Another pinch me moment. One of my true loves musically is Wilco. And I have gotten the opportunity over the past decade to work with them very closely. I'm the production manager at Solid Sound, which will come back this year for a 2019 version. And I guess it was the third year, the band that we had on the stage before Wilco, the closing band on Sunday was Levon Helm's band, the Ramble Band. And there was a moment at the end where all of the guys at Wilco came out. So it was... Glenn, the drummer from Wilco, playing with Levon, who was one of his heroes, and Jeff and John Surratt, kind of on the front line playing with the guys and doing the weight and a couple of other things. And I'm standing on the stage with my kid, who at that point was probably 7 or 8, watching probably the best person I've ever known in this business in Levon Helm, and something I grew up with, the Last Waltz as much as anything, playing with the guys who I now work for. That's a moment that I'll never forget. There's actually a picture of me that somebody has with me, with my arm around my kid, stage right, watching this all happen. And there's a look on my face, and I think I can actually see happiness, which is hard. I'm a pretty straight faced guy when I'm at work, but there have been there are so many moments that what I've learned recently, and I've been doing this for a while, and it's only recently, it's not about chasing the next moment or figuring out what the best thing is. It's just enjoying it all, man. We get to do something that the 20,000 people on the other side of the barricade would probably kill to do. And sometimes it's the big show that makes you realize it's all worthwhile. And sometimes it's the little show, the hard little show that you need to put together. I just did a show with the Decemberists at a wedding in somewhere around Albany. It was the first time they'd ever done a wedding. And it was, one of these things that nobody was sure how it was going to work out. And the set was so great that they never really do encores. And they came back and they did like a 6-song set of covers. Blister in the Sun and Champagne Supernova. And there were maybe 300 people, 200 people there. It wasn't a big moment, but it was, again, one of these moments where the band was having fun and this family was having fun. And I was just standing there saying, hey, man, every day there's a new challenge, and every day there's a new experience. And almost every day there's something that I can count myself lucky to see.
That's great, man. Working weddings and different events. What are some of your favorite events to work? Like, do you have any particulars? Like, I love working this festival every year, or that one. Give me a couple of those.
I mean, the top 3, without really thinking, would be Lock-In, Gov Ball, and Solid Sound. Lock-In, it's Pete and Dave Fries. It's something that, I've been involved with since, day -2. And, it's ours, and it's changed a lot, and it's gotten, it got worse before it got better. And this year was just the best year we've had, and it was really great. And Solid Sound is, it's done in an art museum in Massachusetts, MassMoCA, the Massachusetts Museum of Contemporary Art. So you have, a rock show with one of the best bands in the world, and you walk, 20 feet over here, and you're in a, no shit, like world-class art facility. So that's always a twist, and my family's always there for that one. And then Gov Ball is my hometown show. I'm the main stage manager there, and I've always said to my friends, any show that I can wake up in my own bed and go do, and then go to sleep in my own bed, I call that my Uber show. I'll take. But like, there's something about Gov Ball. They're of all the big shows, the 50,000 person downtown urban shows, the Lollapaloozas and the ACLs. There's just a personality to Gov Ball that my friends who run it Jen Stiles, and Tom and Jordan, the founders guys. There's such an attention to detail and such an attention to, this is New York, and we want to show, make this a microcosm of what New York is about. There is everything that you can think of. And I don't want to say no expense is spared, because obviously it's a business, but everything's done right. And, when you have, when your second your support slot is lured a couple of years ago, and we have to get her out in a huge oversized fish tank. So she, a hydraulic fish tank, so that she can go over stage. And then we have to turn that around in an hour and get Chance the Rapper and all of his puppets out there. It's about as challenging as you can get, because again, no expenses spared. Some festivals will come and say, come in and, here's our lighting package, here's our video wall, use it. GovBall is like, hey man, if you travel with something, we want to give our fans your show. So there, we have, sometimes 5 or 6 lighting rigs in the air at once, and it's hard, but we get it done, and there's an accomplishment that you feel at the end of that that's really special. And then I get to go home, so it's great.
The Uber show, I like that.
Yep.
How about the strangest event you've ever worked?
The strangest, we did a TV show for it was the national network in China. I can't remember what it was called. But it was, Harry Connick Jr. and Wyclef Jean were the two kind of like Western stars. And then there were a bunch of, kind of Eastern stars and Chinese stars. And it was a big production. It was in New York at the Hammerstein, when they were still doing big shows at Hammerstein. But like, man, you would think that there are certain things about a production that are universal, the way, music, a major chord is universal. There was nothing. It was literally like, the English speaking team and the Chinese speaking team, and there was no anything there. There was no connection. There was no commitment. It was just weird. And like every other show, we pulled it off. But like, that was one of the ones where, I was calling the show in a suit, and I sat down at the end of the show and I kind of loosened my tie. And I looked at my my partner and the guy who brought me in, and I said, "What the hell just happened?" We're still not sure.
It's kind of hard to have a communication barrier, right? When communicate a little bit when there's a language barrier.
It was part language barrier, but also just, I kind of feel that if the language had not been an issue, that it still would have been completely messed up. Just the way they were doing things as the way we were doing things. It was almost like Bizarro World, where everything that you thought you would see would be turned around 180. It was, I don't know. I've never been to China, and I'm not sure that I'm going to go, but it was something.
Dindas, who are some of your favorite bands to work with? Some of your favorite artists?
Favorite bands? It's hard because there are so many of them now that are friends.
Yeah.
That it's just about the relationships. Humphrey McGee. I'm not the biggest Humphreys fan in the world musically. I'm a big Zappa fan, and I love what they do in terms of how they play. They're not what I put on at the end of the night when I come home. But like, if I'm doing a festival and Humphreys is on the bill, I'm thrilled because it's family.
Yeah.
And when you ask somebody like me, who are the bands that you most like working with? Part of that is, who are the crews you most like working with?
Right on.
Because I'll spend 12 hours in a day with a crew, and I'll see the band for 90 minutes when they show up and play their show. So a lot of it, it's that it's the people that you're working with on your side. But Wilco is one of them for sure. Jason Isbell is one of them. Again, somebody who I love working with. Government Mule. Warren and I have been friends for a long time. And that whole, again, that's family. Steph and Danny and Jorgen. So there are a lot more people that I love working with and bands I try and avoid. So I guess that means I'm doing something right.
Are there any bands up and coming that you're high on right now?
I don't know. I don't listen to music anymore. Who has time to listen to music?
You don't listen to music when you're on the bike?
It's been said about me that I hate people and I hate music, so I'm absolutely in the right industry. And there's a little bit of truth to it.
True.
Yeah, I listen to music on the bike all the time, but that's more about just, the beat and I listen to a lot of Foo Fighters, and a lot of Rage just because I need to get that driving thing. I mean, young bands, I don't know about young bands, like, Courtney Barnett is, she just put out her second record. I was supposed to go see her last night and haven't. I think she's a genius. I really do. There are, as soon as we get off this thing, I'll think of 10 people that I should have mentioned. But, without homework, I'm not really sure.
Right on, brother. If you could go back in time and give yourself some advice, what would you give yourself advice on?
Don't do drugs. No? All right.
No, that works.
You mean realistically? No, I think I should have done more drugs for a shorter period of time. That's what I would have told myself. I should have left all the drugs only in my 20s and done all that I could have without killing myself. No, you know what? Honestly, and I don't think I've ever thought about this way or said it out loud in this kind of way, but probably I would have gone back 15 years or 20 years. I would have said, believe in yourself. Mm-hmm. Believe in the fact, my dad had a great line once that he saw that I was good at this, at running this, and that, I was destined to own a company and so, or that was my plan at the time. And he said, you're great at it and you love it. Now you just have to figure out a way to, make a living off of it. Because, I can want to be I can be a great goaltender, but I'm not going to make, the Rangers, so I'm not going to get paid off of it. So having the belief that I could take my passion and make it into something that would pay my bills and give me a comfortable life for myself and my kid. I think that's something everybody has to be willing to tell themselves at an early age, because I think there's, part of our society has, made narcissism, such a terrible thing. And it is at a certain point, but, having confidence in yourself and believing in yourself and saying, hey, this is what I want to do. And it's going to be hard and I'm going to, have missteps, but, it's worth it. It's worth the hard work and it's worth believing in yourself. And you know what, if it doesn't work out, something else will come along, but you only live once and life is short. You can, any trite saying you want, but it's all true. So, give yourself a shot to succeed. And, I think I have that feeling now, and I've gotten that over the past several years. I wonder what I would have been like if I really believed that when I was 27.
I got to ask you my Michael K question, and that is, if you're ever trapped in a foxhole, who would you want to be trapped in a foxhole with? You got the enemy coming at you. Who's got your back in that foxhole?
Somebody I know or anybody in history?
Whoever you feel is going to help you get out of that foxhole alive.
Huh. Wow, that's interesting. I don't know if I've been asked that one either. If I'm looking to get out alive, it's different than if I'm, fatalistic and saying, well, who do I want for the last couple of minutes?
Copy that.
I need more information, meaning,
All right,
is this a brute strength question? Like, do I want John Wayne?
You're trapped in a foxhole with the enemy coming at you right now, and you need to get out of that foxhole. Who is your tag team partner getting out of that foxhole?
Kurt Vonnegut.
Kurt Vonnegut, the pitcher?
Yeah, the author.
Okay.
He was he's about as smart of a person as I've ever met. He saw war firsthand, and he would not have fought off the enemy, but he probably would be as good as anybody at finding a back door out of that foxhole and get into safety.
Gotcha. So Kurt who?
Kurt Vonnegut. He wrote a book called Slaughterhouse-Five about the Second World War and the air raids in Dresden. It's if you haven't read it, man, it's a must read.
Oh, well, I'll definitely check that out. Another question I ask a lot of the jam scene people is, would you rather be shady or sketchy?
I can't be heady.
No, shady or sketchy, no heady. You're already heady.
I'd rather be sketchy.
You'd rather be sketchy.
Sketchy is just like kind of off and crazy. Shady has like a dark, evil connotation to it. I don't want to be shady.
You don't want to be shady. You'd rather be sketchy. To me, sketchy is shady on drugs, though.
Well, I don't do drugs anymore, so I'm good. That worked out nicely for me.
Badger's checking in, and he's saying he'd vote for Billy Yeager to be in that foxhole with.
Yeager would build another foxhole on top of the foxhole and distract everybody else.
Yeah,
not a bad one. I mean, it depends. If Yeager's stomach is okay and he gets checked out by a doctor, yeah, maybe. But yeah.
I can see Yeager.
I don't know if he's at his fighting weight right now.
Yeager would be digging tunnels. I could see that for sure.
Oh, sure. Yeager may be digging a tunnel right now as we speak for no good reason. He may just be digging one.
No doubt. Dindas, where do you see you in the next 10 years?
Where do I see me? Well, I'll have 4 more Red Sox World Series if everything keeps going. It's funny. I'm building a company, and I love it, and the company's starting to get bigger. Go for it's you had it almost right. G4DProductions.com is the current URL.
Gotcha.
And I think that I think I want to be building this company. I think I want to be putting on bigger shows and more meaningful shows. We do a lot of stuff that is either charity based or not for profit. A lot of cause stuff, and I want to be doing that. And then in about 10 years, it's interesting you said 10. If you had said 5, I would have said exactly this answer. 10 years, I think I'm getting close to, wrapping it all up and moving somewhere where all I need to do is ride my bike.
Retirement.
I don't think I'll ever retire. I get way too edgy for that. I mean, I'll have to be a consultant or put on 1 or 2 shows a year, but possibly out of the day-to-day grind of running a company, especially in New York. I'm a New Yorker through and through, but maybe someday I'll find myself a little hill to ride up and down.
Well, my friend, you're in this till you drop. You're like me.
Yeah, but it sounded nice, didn't it? It sounded like I almost sold it. Like, there's something else out there. But yeah, you're right. 10 years from now, I'll be on this, on this 10th anniversary podcast with you.
There you go. I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
Write it down.
If you need anything too, as far as promo goes or whatever, please keep me in the loop, man. I'd love to help you out any way I can. Speaking of promo, can you promo any upcoming events that you have going on?
Well, the big one is Christmas Jam. It's the 30th anniversary of Warren Haynes' Christmas Jam down in Asheville, North Carolina. Tickets are actually going on sale this Friday. It is the most meaningful show I do every year. We have over the past, I've been the producer of the show for a decade. There's now basically a neighborhood in Asheville, North Carolina that we have built, 21 homes. So 21 families have homes.
That's awesome.
Now because of the event that we put on. I give a speech to the troops every year. I mean, most of the time we're doing this for a promoter. We're doing this for a friend who's has some money and wants to put on a concert. But this show is really, it gives it an amazing ability to change people's lives. We built a house for somebody last year, and this year when we go down there, we're going to meet that family, and they'll take like a 2x4 and they'll sign it and say thank you and stuff. So, I mean, take what we, all of the cool things about what we do, and then add in this aspect of changing somebody's life, taking somebody who's down on their luck or for whatever reason finds themselves without a home for their families. And we go down there and we work for a year and we raise money so that Habitat for Humanity can build them a house. I don't know what's better than that. I really don't. This year it's the 30th. It's 2 nights instead of the usual 1 night. We have Dave Grohl coming down to play his new thing, Play, with an all-star band. We have Eric Church. We have Government Mule doing Dark Side of the Mule. We have Jim James and a band, Mike Gordon, Grace Potter, Marco Benevento, Joe Bonamassa. I mean, you can go to ChristmasJam.com. That's the last thing that we'll be doing between now and the end of the year. And it's my favorite thing to do because we end the year with this and then we go into the holiday season. And, it's an emotional thing, and it's a really, really great event, and it's something that my relationship with Warren and with Steph Scamardo and Jay Bao have allowed me to grow in that event, from helping out the first year in some small club to now running it for 10 years, and picking a staff to come and dedicate themselves to do it. It's really great. It's something that I will never forget. And that is December 7th and 8th this year. So if you want to come to Asheville, go buy tickets this weekend. On Friday. They're going to go real fast, and come down and experience what the show's about, because it's really about as special a thing as I'm involved in.
That's going to make you feel wonderful walking out of that event when it's over, huh?
Yeah, tired, because Warren likes to play till 3 a.m. every night. But yeah, it ends on a Saturday, and usually I fly home Monday, and Sunday you just kind of walk around town, and you go up and you go to the Hudson Hills, which is Stephen Warren's son's name, and you see these you see the fruits of your labor, and it's it reminds you that there is more to this business than just the Live Nations and the AEGs. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people using music and using events and concerts to do good. And G4D Productions is honored to be involved in a lot of them on the National Mall, and we did one for an organization called Deborah 2 weeks ago up at the Cap Theater. But Christmas Jam is the one that really stands apart.
Do you do other fundraising type of events too, benefits, besides Christmas Jam?
Sure. The one I just mentioned was Deborah of America. Okay. It's for this terrible disease that affects about 20,000 kids a year. DeborahForAmerica.org, I believe, is their website. We raised a lot of money for them at the Capitol Theater in Port Chester a few weeks ago. We did the March for Science at the beginning of the year. We've done the last two actually on the National Mall, just off the Washington Monument. We've been involved, Pete and I, in the Earth Day shows for many years, and we're coming up onto the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. So, yeah, I mean, given the ability to do something that has a social component to it, or has a charity or fundraising component, as opposed to not, I mean, we're there. We want to, do this. If there's somebody out there that, has an idea and wants to do something for a worthy cause, get in touch. It's what we love doing.
You're a wonderful soul, Jon Dindas. That's for damn sure. And I'm super glad that you took time out of your busy day to talk to me today, man. This has been a lot of fun. And let's do this again, man. I feel like we didn't scratch the surface.
Yeah, I mean, so much more to talk about.
So much more.
We'll start here, and we'll see how the series goes, and then we can go from there.
Yes, you can call and brag anytime you want. Like I said earlier in the podcast, that the Red Sox were the best team in baseball, and they deserve this World Series. I'm saying that as a baseball fan.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll be talking about it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I don't want to see the Dodgers ever win. I don't want to see the Red Sox ever win too, but don't get me started. But it's going to be good. It's evenly matched. That's what I like about the series. It is evenly matched. But I think the Red Sox 1 through 9 hitters are a lot more dominant than the Dodgers 1 through 9.
I'm not breaking any news here, but I feel as if it will come down to middle relief.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's going to come down to. We're going to hit. They're going to hit. Our starters are going to be okay. If we can get through, if Burke and those guys can get us through 6, 7, 8, I think we'll be fine. But anyway, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
Plug your internet to your internet. Plug your website and your social medias if you want to.
Sure. It's G4D, the number 4, not the letter, G4DProductions.com. And it's also G4D Productions on Facebook and Instagram. Hit us up if you're looking to do something fun.
Awesome.
We're good at it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking to me, and let's do this again really soon, man. And hey, Dindas, you ever need me, man, my bags are always packed for you, pal. So
you got a spot on my team anytime, man. We'll be talking for sure.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Right. Talk to you soon. Before we get out of here, I got to give some love and respect out to the sponsors. Of course, you got to give some love to the sponsors. In fact, our good friends at NYE Volkswagen in Rome are doing some pretty cool things with us. They're letting me take a car anytime I want. So I'm going to be taking a car next Wednesday, and we're going to do some coffee delivery to the local police departments. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. Stop into the showroom at 5865 Taberg Road in Rome and see why all the customers love their NYE dub. Mention the D, mention Disruption Network, mention EC Radio, the Baseline, the D-Line, all the programming we have here on Disruption Network, and receive $250 off any vehicle purchase. You can check out their inventory at NYEVdubofrome.com. Big ups to my boy Mike Sacco. EJA Moving Company, the professional movers. Call them today at 315-335-0516. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, complete packing and unpacking service. They make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com. Let them break their back for you. Seriously, let them do it. That's what they're there for. You don't have to touch your boxes. Let EJA move all your boxes for you. Don't break your back. Let those guys do it. Let Eddie do it. That's what he does. Also, we've got a benefit comedy show happening a couple days before Veterans Day. It's happening Saturday, November 10th. The D presents. Thank you for your service. You're welcome. It's a comedy fundraiser for the Central New York Veterans Outreach Center, and it's happening at Wakely's, my old stomping ground, 700 Varick Street in Utica. EC fam, where you at? Come on out. Laugh your ass off. It's a free event. We're asking for donations for the Central New York Veterans Outreach Center. Donations going as far as clothes, supplies, non-perishable food items, toiletries, or small monetary donation at the door. Like I said, all the proceeds, all the supplies, all going to Central New York Veterans Outreach Center. Doors open at 7 o'clock. Show starts at 8. We've got some funny comedians. Mike Ciccone, Paul Kozlowski, Cortland Cluse, and Michael Alfred Pileggi, my producer, is going to be taking the stage doing this comedy skit. Be interesting to see what Pileggi comes with. I know it's going to be funny. The night's going to be hosted by our good friend Genesee Joe from 92.7 FM The Drive and DJ East One on the ones and twos, baby. It's all going down at Wakely Saturday, September. I wish it was September. Saturday, November the 10th. Thank you for your service. You're welcome. Is sponsored by our good friends at NYE Volkswagen of Rome, Paulie's Barbershop, 92.7 FM The Drive, Frank's Guns, and CNY Seal Coating and Concrete. Tomorrow's show, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's show. Tomorrow we got Beside the Sun. Great local band. They're incredible. You got to check them out. They've actually only have one show under their belt right now, but they're having their second one coming up on Friday at 12 North. They're going to come in. Great band. You might remember these guys from such bands as Autumn Fire, Mason's Revolt. Well, they've got this new singer coming in from Florida, Chris Perez, who has been on the show before. Amazing talent. Amazing band. So get out there and show your support at 12 North this weekend. So we'll be talking to them. And then on Thursday, the Doctor, Jerry Krause, my old running mate from WOUR, will be in the house with me on Thursday talking about all the good things happening at the Stanley Theater. This weekend, the big gala is happening. The 90th anniversary of the Stanley Theater. It's happening this Friday. It's unbelievable. That building's been standing for 90 years. But we're going to celebrate the theater this Friday with the gala. Classifieds there. They got Opus One Black, and there's some DJs. It's just going to be an all-out party throughout the whole building of the Stanley. We're going to talk to the Dr. Jerry Krause about that on Thursday. Also, Seinfeld's coming, Bob Dylan's coming, Vic DiBenedetto's coming. They've got a lot of things happening at the Stanley, and you guys should be out there supporting it because they got some good stuff out there. That's for damn sure. I want to remind everybody they can listen to this podcast and previous podcasts of EC Radio and all the content we have here on the D at disruptionnetwork.net. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter and Twitch, and subscribe to YouTube. We're pretty much everywhere. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple iTunes and Podcasts and Google Play and Stitcher and Spotify. You can pretty much find us anywhere. That's what we do. We do that. So I'm going to see you tomorrow. And then stick around. Ease, Beats, and Bizz will be up right around 8 o'clock. The best hip-hop show in Central New York, for sure. That's the truth right there. And I know their guest is Michelle Classic from the Stiefvater. So they're going to talk about their little party they got going on Saturday night. Ease, Beats, and Bizz, 8 o'clock. You tune in. We'll see you tomorrow.
You know what the hell you're listening to? It's EC Radio.
Never you mind what I'm making. You should spend some time taking a personal inventory of what you're doing for the betterment of society.
EC Radio.
Only on the D. Help the D make strides against breast cancer by donating to our Real Men Wear Pink page, main.acsevents.org/Utica. It's important for us as a whole to help raise awareness, education, and do our part to help fight this horrible disease. The Disruption team will be raising funds at upcoming events and all our daily programming. Please support our cause by donating a few dollars to our Real Men Wear Pink page. To learn more, visit main.acsevents.org/Utica or follow the donation link on our Facebook page. Help the D, save the B's, and put an end to breast cancer.
Thank you for your service, you're welcome. A comedy benefit show for our veterans. In support of the Central New York Veterans Outreach Center. On November 10th at Wakely, 700 Varick Street, Utica, join Disruption Network as they team up with 92.7 FM The Drive for this night of laughter. The evening will be hosted by Genesee Joe from The Drive. Performances by Mike Ciccone, Paul Kozlowski, Cortland Kloos, Mike Pileggi, and DJ Ease One. Admission is by donation only. Please bring clothes, socks, gloves, non-perishable food items, or a small monetary donation. All donations will go to the Central New York Veterans Outreach Center. Saturday, November 10th at Wakely's on Varick Street. Doors open at 7 p.m. Show starts at 8 p.m. Thank you for your service is sponsored by The D, 92.7 FM The Drive, Paulie's Barbershop, NYE Volkswagen of Rome, Frank's Guns, and Central New York Seal Coating and Concrete.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Hey, Disruption Network. This is Mike Sacco, the general manager at NYE Volkswagen of Rome. If you don't know me by name, it's only because you have not received the best deal. There's only one reason to leave Utica, and that's to come see me in Rome and get the best deal on your next new, pre-owned, or certified VW. Mention that you heard this ad from Disruption Network and receive $250 off your next vehicle purchase. You'll know why our customers say, I love my NYE VW. Come see us at 5865 Rome Taberg Road in Rome, or visit us online at nyevwofrome.com.
The Property Sisters of the Mohawk Valley was born when 3 top producing agents with over 25 years of combined experience selling real estate joined forces to take real estate to the next level. We practice with honesty, integrity, and the knowledge to help make the buying and selling process easy and stress-free for all of our clients. We pledge to always make our clients our top priority from start to finish, and even after the house is closed. We will always be a valued resource for information and assistance for our buyers and sellers. Our customers over the years have become not only past clients, but great friends. As we join hands together as the Property Sisters of the Mohawk Valley, we look forward to serving our clients and our community and making a positive difference. You can reach us at 315-601-9630 for all of your real estate needs.
The Disruption Network is making moves. For upcoming events, news, interviews, and new daily programming, keep in the loop with us at DisruptionNetwork.net. Like, follow, and subscribe to all our social media. And check out all our podcasts on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Get up on the D, DisruptionNetwork.net.
Only on the D!